These poets are amazing. Front row, amazing. $50 extra in your pocket, amazing. Finger snap, amazing. Discovering a cliche for the first time, amazing. These people are simply amazing.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen of the YouTube. I am your guest host tonight for Poet Love. I am the Green Arrow. Just kidding. Happy Halloween, everyone. If you're like me, this is your favorite time of year and you had a blast tonight. And we're going to continue that excitement and that blast by talking about another great poet on this delayed edition of Poet Love. I promise I'll start getting back on a regular weekly schedule. But I thought tonight, with the mood that I'm in, the best night of the year for me, and great costume I love, talk about one of the nicest guys I've ever met in the poetry scene. Mike Rosen. Now this is the part, of course, where I would do the biography, do my own personal biography, but I was reading up on Mike's work in his chapbook that I got, In Need of Runaways, poems by Mike Rosen. And I figured, and I was reading his biography on the back here, and I figured Mike put it the best way he could. Mike Rosen graduated from Wesleyan University, where he founded We Slam, a poetry event series and slam team. He was named Best Male Poet at the 2011 Wade Lewis Poetry Slam Invitational and led his team to 7th in the nation and the Spirit of Slam Award at the 2011 College Union Poetry Slam Invitational, CUPSI for short. He is the editor-in-chief of thenewconfusion.com, an arts and cultural website dedicated to the appreciation of a wide variety of perspectives and media. He believes securing North America is a fail-safe way to victory and risk, and endorses Penguin's French toast and well-crafted amber ale. He has never felt more uncomfortable than when he wrote this bio, but he appreciates that you were reading it. And that last sentence, I think, sums up Mike to a T. Mike is definitely one of the most appreciative guys that I've met outside of slam. I first met Mike at the Rust Belt Regional Poetry Slam in 2011, I believe. It was the second year that I have been in poetry that I had witnessed a Rust Belt, and he came with his team. And it was also the very first time that I ever performed poetry competitively in something of this wide of range. I mean, to think of just being able to read, I mean, it's very different than an open mic. I've done open mics where there have been features, but I mean, in the room alone, there was Rachel McKibben, Gypsy Yo, Tom Bidet, J.W. Baz, Jamal versus May. Just so many people that I looked up to, and this was my very first time competing for points in something that wasn't a local slam. And I did the two biggest pieces of mine at the time, which are still two of my biggest pieces. Luigi Speaks His Piece and 5 Reasons I Know There's a God or Some Higher Power Above Us. But again, this is not about me, this is about Mike. And when you meet Mike, it's very easy. Like, if you don't talk to Mike and you just look at him, you might get a sense he's a little preppy, a little just by the way he dressed and the way he carries himself. But that's as if you don't talk to him. Talk to Mike. His work is amazing, and I felt like we made and it was really cool. It's like after Rust Belt was all over with, he actually contacted me here on YouTube and he subscribed to the channel, and he was just very appreciative. He just showed his appreciation for my work, and he is just one of the nicest dudes ever, and it definitely showed the next year at Rust Belt. I think we made a better connection, talking to him and hanging out, and being a volunteer that year instead, compared to a composer, I was able to truly listen a little bit better when I was competing in the process. I was very focused on my own work. Um, so like I met a lot of people and I met a lot of people, but I don't really remember the work that they did, unless I've already heard the pieces from them before. But the year after that, I was definitely Mike was a standout. His work was just phenomenal, and I was so happy he had a chapbook. This was definitely one of the first ones I really meant to grab. Um, I mean, just like the 3 poems he performed for indies at that Rust Belt that year. Old Haunts, Sheets. Old Haunts and Sheets are definitely two. I can't think of the third one, but if you look it up, it's on Button Poetry. Has almost every poem from that Rust Belt of that year. And I can't just say enough. Mike is just one of the really coolest dudes. He even looks like Macklemore. I mean, look. That's a great Halloween costume, right? That would be a great Halloween costume right there. I mean, and this book it's so funny. It's like, because almost all the poems are like half a page, and it's such great work, like Phoebe, Hurricane, After the Hurricane, in this book. I mean, but there are other like longer poems. No poem is longer than a page in this book, but he says so much in that short amount of time that it really makes you appreciate it. Like with Valentine in this book, Valentine, Dear Child of the Rainbow. I mean, I would definitely, and I'm doing it again where I'm just gonna be saying the same shit over and over again. But if there's one thing that I want to put out in this episode, at least, is one of the main reasons why I want to start the show is not just that these people that I talk about are great poets, is that they are great people. And Mike is definitely a strong, he's definitely a strong example of that. I remember one of the first things I actually ever witnessed in a Rust Belt is I believe he was about to do his poem Old Haunts in the final stage. And little trivia here. With Slam, your time starts. You usually get a 3-minute time limit, unless certain specifications. You get a 3-minute time limit, and your time starts when you address the audience. So with most people, they'll be quiet, start the poem, time starts. Mike, it was one of the very first times I ever seen this. I believe he was about to start Old Haunts, and he just got up to the mic, and he's like, I just want you all to know this weekend has been great, and I really appreciate you. Lame, paraphrasing, but... And it wasn't like someone saying that to draw sympathy for points. You could tell that Mike really meant that. And that just shows you the guy Mike is. Mike is one of the coolest dudes. I wish we can get him back here to Columbus. I would love to see him, hang out with him, talk to him, hear new work. You can check out thenewconfusion.com. You can check out his YouTube page, The New Confusion, and just really Old Haunt Sheets. Just look up as much Mike Rosen as you can. That's really all I can say. And I mean, I wish I had a lot more energy, but I just danced my ass off in this. This doesn't breathe well, despite how much chest I show. And on that note, I'm going to draw into the magic shoebox. Draw next week's name, which will come quicker, I promise. Halloween's over, big things are over, so... Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, I am Joe Atticus Inch, green lighting as the Green Arrow. Remind you to keep your pens moving, Live long and prosper, and be good, or my quiver will come to you.